Part 1. The forbidden rescue Marcus Chen stood at the edge of the training platform, his large white wings folded carefully against his back. The artificial gravity on Luna Base made flying easier than on Earth, but today's exercise was still challenging. Around him, cadets from 12 different alien species prepared for the combat simulation. "Remember," called out Instructor Vex, a tall, blue-skinned Altarian with 4 arms, "this is a rescue mission. You must work together as a team. No single-species heroics." Marcus nodded along with the others. The Galactic Defense Academy had one rule above all others: follow protocol. Every species had their role to play. The strong Krogan lifted heavy objects. The fast Veloci ran messages. The smart Cerebrals planned strategies. And humans? Humans were supposed to stay in formation and follow orders. The simulation began with a loud horn. Marcus spread his wings and took to the air, soaring above the mock battlefield. Below him, his teammates moved toward their objective, rescuing hostages from a crashed ship. Everything was going according to plan. Then Marcus saw her, a small figure huddled behind a piece of wreckage, away from the main simulation area. She wasn't part of the exercise. Her skin glowed with a soft silver light, and her large eyes reflected fear. Marcus had never seen an ethereal before, but he knew what she was immediately. The stories said they were fragile beings who lived on the edge of known space. What was she doing here? "Marcus, return to formation!" Instructor Vex's voice crackled through his earpiece. But Marcus couldn't look away from the girl. 3 Dominion cadets, the Empire's elite soldiers, were approaching her hiding spot. Their leader, Korvash, was known for his cruel nature. Even among cadets, he treated anyone he considered weak with disgust. "Look what we found," Korvash said, his voice carrying across the training ground. "A little light bug, far from home." The ethereal girl pressed herself further against the wreckage. Her glow flickered like a dying candle. "Please," she whispered in broken Galactic Standard. "I mean no harm. I was just what?" Another Dominion cadet laughed. "Spying on us? Your kind isn't allowed in Dominion space." Marcus felt his heart racing. This wasn't part of the simulation. This was real. The girl was in real danger. He looked around at his other teammates. The Altarian cadets pretended they didn't see what was happening. The Cerebrals were focused on their data pads. Even his human teammates kept their eyes on the main exercise. "Marcus Chen, report to position immediately." Instructor Vex's voice was angry now, but Marcus was already moving. He dove down from the sky, his wings cutting through the air like a knife. The Dominion cadets looked up in surprise as his shadow passed over them. "What are you doing, human?" Korvash demanded as Marcus landed between them and the ethereal girl. "Leave her alone," Marcus said simply. He spread his wings wide, creating a protective barrier around the frightened girl. "This is none of your business," Korvash growled. "These creatures are parasites. They drain resources from real civilizations." "She's just scared," Marcus replied, not moving from his position. "And she's done nothing wrong." The other cadets from the simulation began to gather around. Marcus could hear their whispers. Some sounded shocked, others sounded angry, but none of them stepped forward to help. "Marcus," his teammate Sarah called out, "just follow protocol. This isn't our problem." Marcus felt the ethereal girl's small hand touch his wing. Her touch was warm and sent a strange, tingling sensation through his feathers. When he glanced back at her, he saw gratitude in her large, luminous eyes. "My name is Zara," she whispered. "I'm Marcus," he said softly, then turned back to face Korvash. "I won't let you hurt her." "Won't let us?" Korvash stepped forward, his 3 eyes burning with anger. "You're just a human. Your species barely earned the right to attend this academy. Don't think you can challenge the Dominion." I'm not challenging anyone, Marcus said. I'm just doing what's right. Instructor Vex finally arrived, his 4 arms waving in frustration. Cadet Chen! What is the meaning of this disruption? Sir, these cadets were threatening an innocent person, Marcus reported. An innocent person? Vex looked at Zara with disgust. This is an ethereal. They're not permitted on Academy grounds. How did it even get here? She's not an it, Marcus said firmly. She's a person, and she's scared. Cadet Chen, step away immediately. This is a violation of non-interference protocols. Marcus felt everyone's eyes on him. His fellow humans looked disappointed. The alien cadets seemed confused by his actions. Only Zara looked at him with something like hope. No, sir, Marcus said quietly. The training ground went completely silent. What did you say? Instructor Vex's voice was deadly quiet. I said no, sir. I won't step away from someone who needs protection. Corvash laughed coldly. See? This is why humans don't belong. Here. Too emotional. Too unpredictable. They can't follow simple rules. The rules are wrong if they mean letting innocent people get hurt, Marcus said. Instructor Vex activated his communicator. Security to Training Ground 7. We have a code violation. Within minutes, Academy security arrived. They were a mix of different species, all wearing the stern expressions of enforcers. Cadet Chen, the security chief, a massive ursine creature, rumbled, "You are under arrest for violation of Protocol 7, unauthorized interference in non-Academy affairs." As the security team approached, Marcus felt Zara slip something small and warm into his hand. When he looked down, he saw a beautiful crystal that pulsed with soft light. "Thank you," she whispered, as the security officers gently but firmly led her away. "You are different from what they said about humans." Marcus watched her go, the crystal still warm in his palm. Then, the security officers turned to him. "Your wings, cadet," the chief said, holding out restraint devices designed for flying species. Marcus slowly folded his wings and allowed them to be bound. As they led him away from the training ground, he heard the whispers starting. Crazy human. Threw away his whole career for an alien. Typical emotional instability. But Marcus didn't feel crazy. He felt more clear-headed than he had in months. As they walked toward the detention center, he caught sight of Zara being loaded onto a transport ship. Even from a distance, he could see her looking back at him. 3 hours later, Marcus sat in front of the Academy Council. Representatives from 7 major species sat behind a curved desk, all looking at him with various expressions of disappointment and confusion. Cadet Marcus Chen, the council chairman, an ancient wisdom keeper, spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. "You have been found guilty of violating Protocol 7. This is not your first disciplinary action for emotional responses." Marcus thought about the other times, when he had helped a struggling velocity cadet with his studies instead of focusing on his own scores, when he had shared his food rations with hungry refugee children visiting the academy. Small acts that seemed natural to him but apparently broke important rules. "The Academy Council has reached a unanimous decision," the chairman continued. "You are hereby expelled from the Galactic Defense Academy, effective immediately. Your wings will be deactivated, and you will be returned to Earth." Marcus felt his heart sink. His wings were everything to him. They represented years of painful surgeries and training. Without them, he was just another grounded human. "However," the chairman added, "we recognize that your actions, while misguided, came from what your species calls good intentions. You will be allowed to keep your wing modifications, though your access to military flight zones is permanently revoked." As Marcus left the council chamber, his belongings in a single bag, he felt the crystal Zara had given him pulse gently in his pocket. Somehow, he didn't feel defeated. He felt like his real journey was just beginning, back in his empty dormitory room. As he packed the last of his things, Marcus took out the crystal. In its light, he could almost hear something. A whisper, a call, a promise. Tomorrow he would leave the academy in disgrace, but tonight he had saved someone who needed help. And that, Marcus thought as he watched the crystal's gentle glow, was worth everything.
The morning sun rose over the silverleaf forest, casting golden light over the blue grass and sparkling streams. Liam stretched as he stepped out of the small shelter Zyra had shown him the night before. His armor glinted faintly, but he had swapped most of it for lighter clothing suitable for the alien climate. Zyra was already waiting, sitting cross-legged on the grass, her violet hair catching the light. Her golden eyes glimmered as she waved at him. "Good morning," Liam said, smiling. Zyra repeated the words in her own melodious language, as if trying to mimic him, and then clapped her hands in delight when she got it right. Liam chuckled. Teaching an alien to understand humans was going to be harder than he thought. Learning human ways for the first few hours. Liam tried to explain something simple. Human ways of forming bonds. Words like friendship, trust, and care had no direct translation in Zyra's language. So he had to use gestures, expressions, and patience. He showed her how humans touch hands not only to greet but to comfort each other. Zyra's fingers hovered uncertainly over his palm, and Liam demonstrated slowly, guiding her hand. When she finally matched his gesture, a smile spread across her face. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Next, he tried to explain emotions like fear, joy, and love. He knew she wouldn't fully understand the concept of romantic love, but he wanted her to grasp the importance of connection. "See?" Liam said, pointing at a nearby stream. "Water flows, right? It moves and changes, but it keeps going. People, emotions, connections, they're like that. You feel them, you share them, and they grow." Zyra tilted her head, pondering. Then in her musical voice, she tried to repeat his words, though it sounded like a soft song. Liam laughed quietly. "You're learning fast," he said. She beamed. Zyra's alien instincts, but not all of Zyra's instincts were human. Sometimes she would suddenly press her hand against his chest or look at him with an intensity that made his heart race. He knew these gestures were part of her species' natural bonding rituals, a way of showing interest in choosing a mate. One afternoon, as they walked through a grove of silver-leafed trees, Zyra stopped and crouched near a glowing flower. She plucked it carefully and held it out to Liam. "It gift?" Liam asked. Zyra nodded vigorously. Then, in a sudden burst of courage, she pointed between herself and him, looping her fingers as she had the night before. Her golden eyes searched his. Liam paused. The message was clear. She wanted a deeper connection, a bond that went beyond friendship. But he also knew she didn't understand what that meant for humans. "Zyra," he said gently, I can't promise to be exactly like your kind expects, but I'll be here. We'll figure it out together." Her eyes lit up. She smiled and pressed her hand lightly against his, as if accepting his words. Exploring together over the next few days, Liam and Zyra explored the forest. He showed her how to observe surroundings carefully, how to notice signs of danger, and how humans build simple tools from what they find. She was fascinated by his explanations and quickly learned to mimic some of the techniques. In return, Zyra taught him things about her world he would never have imagined. She showed him how the silver-leaf trees could purify water and how the glowing flowers could light a path at night. She pointed out creatures that were harmless despite looking fierce and taught him how to listen to the subtle music of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the hum of tiny insects, and the gentle vibrations of the earth. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Liam stumbled. Zyra caught him instantly, her small hands surprisingly strong for her size. She steadied him and looked up at him with concern. "You see," Liam said, brushing himself off, "even your instincts are amazing. You notice everything, even the small things humans miss." Zyra smiled, pleased that he admired her abilities. For the first time, Liam realized that bonding with her wasn't just about teaching, it was about learning from each other. Funny misunderstandings there. Lessons weren't always smooth. One day Liam tried to teach Zyra about human greetings. He extended his hand for a handshake, smiling politely. Zyra, misunderstanding, grabbed both his hands, spun around, and laughed loudly, making Liam stumble backward. Okay, not exactly like that, Liam said, laughing. She mimicked his expression. Then tried again, this time lightly touching his palm with hers. It worked. They both laughed, enjoying the small victory. Another time, Liam tried to explain human food. Etiquette. Zyra had been used to consuming raw fruits and herbs, but humans cooked and seasoned everything. She picked up a strange steaming dish, sniffed it, then touched it to her tongue, and immediately made a sour face. Liam couldn't help but laugh. Not your taste, he asked. She shook her head vigorously, then offered him a glowing fruit from her collection. He took a bite, and her golden eyes sparkled as he nodded in approval. Through laughter and mistakes, their bond grew. Zyra began to understand human ways, while Liam appreciated her instincts and her courage to try something unfamiliar. A dangerous encounter one morning. While exploring a deeper valley, Liam and Zyra heard rustling in the tall bluegrass. A creature emerged, long, sleek, and covered in shimmering black scales. Its glowing eyes fixed on them. It hissed in warning. Liam instinctively stepped in front of Zyra. He raised his rifle, but the creature didn't immediately attack. It circled them. Assessing, Zyra's instincts kicked in. She crouched, lowered her body, and pressed her hand against Liam's chest. Felt a strange warmth, a silent message of trust and connection. "Don't worry," she whispered in her own language, her voice calm and soothing. Liam could feel her intent. The creature lunged, and Liam reacted quickly, using a combination of human skill and lessons he'd learned from Zyra's guidance about movement and timing. With her help directing him with quick gestures and sounds, they managed to drive the creature away without harm. After the danger passed, Zyra's small hand stayed on his chest. She looked up at him with admiration. "Bond, strong," she said softly. Liam smiled, feeling a deep warmth in his chest. "Yeah, Zyra, strong." Evening reflections that night, sitting by the fire, Zyra rested her head near Liam's shoulder. He could feel her breathing, small and rhythmic. "You're learning fast," Liam said, his voice low. "But there's something you need to know. Humans. Sometimes we express feelings in ways you may not understand yet. Touch, words, gestures, all of it matters." Zyra tilted her head. She didn't fully understand, but she nodded. "Bonding isn't just instinct," Liam continued. "It's trust, care, protecting each other, sharing moments. Like this." He gestured to the fire, the stars, the quiet forest around them. Her golden eyes shone. She reached for his hand and held it lightly. For her species, it might have been a simple gesture, but to Liam, it meant acceptance, understanding, and a desire to be close. I think I understand," Zyra whispered, her voice like music in the firelight. A silent promise as the fire burned low and the night grew darker. Liam realized something. Zyra had instincts that were alien to him, but her trust and courage were undeniable. He would guide her, teach her, protect her. And in return, she had already begun teaching him about patience, wonder, and connection. He watched her fall asleep near the fire, her breathing steady and calm. His hand rested lightly on hers. He didn't know exactly what her bonding ritual would demand, or what challenges lay ahead. But he made a silent promise. He would take care of her, learn with her, and face whatever came together. For the first time since arriving on Erythra, Liam felt truly connected. The alien girl had chosen him. In return, he had chosen her as a partner in exploration and trust, and in something deeper that neither fully understood yet. Tomorrow would bring new lessons, new adventures, and new challenges. But tonight, under alien stars, they were together. And that was enough.
Part 3. The human network 2 days had passed since Marcus learned the truth about the ethereals. Now he stood in an abandoned warehouse on Mars Colony, waiting for his team to arrive. Through Zara's crystal, he had been talking with her constantly, learning more about her people and feeling something deeper growing between them. Marcus, Zara's voice came through the crystal, soft and musical in her own language. The transport will reach the processing station tomorrow. I am scared. Marcus held the crystal close to his heart. Don't be scared. We're coming for you. I promise. You barely know me, Zara said. Why are you risking so much? Marcus paused, surprised by his own answer. Because when I look at you through this crystal, when I hear your voice, I feel like I've found something I didn't know I was looking for. The crystal glowed warmer, and Marcus could sense Zara's emotions through it. Surprise, hope, and something that felt like joy. I feel the same, she whispered. Is this what humans call love? Before Marcus could answer, he heard footsteps. His team was arriving. Sarah Martinez was first, her medical training making her steps quick and precise. Behind her came James O'Brien, his pilot skills crucial for their mission. Lisa Kim entered with her engineering expertise, followed by 3 other humans Marcus had contacted, all expelled or disciplined for caring too much. This better be worth it, Marcus, Sarah said, but her eyes were curious, not angry. I gave up a good job in civilian medical to come here. It is, Marcus said, holding up Zara's crystal. Let me show you the truth. He activated the crystal, and suddenly the warehouse filled with light. The images Zara had shown him appeared in the air. Beautiful worlds restored by ethereal healing, the secret genocide happening across the galaxy, and the final cleansing planned for next month. When the light faded, all 6 humans stood in stunned silence. My God, James whispered. They're killing an entire species just to keep dead planets. And the other alien races know about this, Lisa asked, her voice angry. Some suspect, Marcus said, but they're too scared of the Dominion to act, or they believe the propaganda that ethereals are dangerous. Sarah stepped forward. What do you need us to do? Over the next hour, Marcus explained his plan. It was dangerous and probably impossible, but it was their only chance. They would rescue the ethereals from Processing Station Omega-7, then use Zara's knowledge to find and evacuate the hidden ethereal worlds before the final cleansing. We'll need ships, James said, and supplies, and weapons. No weapons, Marcus said firmly. The ethereals don't believe in violence. If we want their trust, we can't use violence either. Then how do we fight the Dominion? Asked Tom Bradley, a former security officer. We don't fight them, Marcus said. We outsmart them. As they worked through the details, Marcus kept the crystal connected to Zara. Through it, she helped them understand ethereal culture, their needs, and their capabilities. More importantly, Marcus learned about Zara herself. She was 127 years old, young for an ethereal. She had spent her life healing sick forests on her home world until the Dominion found them. She loved music that sounded like wind through silver, leaves. She had never seen snow, or tasted chocolate, or felt the warmth of a human's embrace. I wish I could be there with you, Marcus said during a quiet moment while the others planned supply routes. You are with me, Zara replied through the crystal. Every time you speak to me, I feel less alone. Every time you promise to save my people, I feel hope growing in my heart. After we rescue you, Marcus said. After we save your people. Would you like to see Earth? I could show you snow and chocolate. The crystal pulsed with what felt like laughter. Yes, I would like that very much. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent pulse from the crystal. Zara's voice came through, tense with fear. Marcus, something is wrong. The transport. Ship has changed course. We are not going to the processing station. Where are you going? Marcus asked, his heart racing. I don't know. They have separated us from the other prisoners. They say we are special cargo now." Marcus felt cold fear wash over him. He called his team together immediately. "Change of plans," he announced. "They're moving Zara and some other ethereals somewhere else. We need to track their ship and intercept it." "How do we track a ship in space?" Sarah asked. Marcus smiled grimly. "Remember why we all got kicked out of the academy? We think differently than other species. We don't follow standard procedures." Using Lisa's engineering skills, they modified Zara's crystal to work as a tracking device. James used his pilot contacts to borrow a fast courier ship. Sarah gathered medical supplies for treating traumatized refugees, but their biggest breakthrough came from an unexpected source. "Marcus," Tom said, looking up from his communications equipment, "I'm picking upcoded transmissions. Other humans. Talking about ethereal rescues." "Other humans? Yeah. Looks like we're not the only ones who figured out what's happening. There are humans across the galaxy organizing rescue operations." Marcus felt his heart lift. Through the crystal, he shared the news with Zara. "Your people are not alone in the galaxy," she said, wonder in her voice. "Humans truly are different from what we were told." Over the next 12 hours, Marcus coordinated with 17 other human rescue teams spread across 4 systems. Each team was led by someone who had been expelled or punished for emotional problems. Humans who had put compassion above regulations. Maria Santos, expelled for helping refugee children instead of following patrol orders. David Zhang, demoted for providing food to starving colonists in a quarantine zone. Rachel Thompson, court-martialed for refusing to leave wounded aliens behind during an evacuation. Each had their own skills, their own resources, and their own burning desire to do what was right. "It's like a network," Lisa said, amazed as she watched the coordination unfold. "A network of humans who care too much." "Maybe that's our real superpower," Sarah added. "Not our technology or our tactics, just caring." As their ship approached the coordinates Zara's crystal provided, Marcus prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. The Dominion ship carrying Zara was heading toward a classified military installation, a place where questions weren't asked, and prisoners disappeared forever. "Marcus," Zara's voice came through the crystal, weaker now. "I can sense you getting closer, but this is too dangerous. If they catch you—" "They won't catch me," Marcus said, spreading his wings in the ship's cargo hold. "I'm going to fly in while the others create a distraction." "Marcus, if something happens to you—" "Nothing will happen to me," he said firmly. "I have too much to live for now." Through the crystal, he felt Zara's love surrounding him like warm light. It gave him strength he had never felt before. "When I get you out of there," Marcus said, "I want to tell you something important. Something I should have said days ago." "Tell me now," Zara whispered. Marcus smiled, even though she couldn't see him. "I love you, Zara. Not just because you're worth saving, but because you make me want to be better than I am." The crystal glowed, so brightly that the other humans turned to look. "I love you too, Marcus Chen," Zara's voice carried clearly through the light. "You have shown me that not all the galaxy is cruel, that some people will risk everything for strangers." "Not strangers," Marcus corrected gently. "Family," James called from the pilot's seat. "We're approaching the target. Everyone ready?" Marcus secured the crystal in a pouch close to his heart and checked his equipment one final time. Around him, his fellow humans prepared for an impossible rescue mission. None of them were soldiers anymore. They were just people who cared too much. But as Marcus looked at their determined faces, he realized something important. Maybe caring too much wasn't a weakness after all. Maybe it was exactly what the galaxy needed. "Let's go save some lives," Marcus said, and his team smiled back at him. Through the crystal, he felt Zara's hope shining like a star in the darkness. Soon they would be together. And after that, they would change everything. Part 4. Full Human Potential. Marcus floated in space outside the Dominion military station, his wings folded tight against his body. The station was massive, a dark metal fortress that swallowed light like a hungry beast. Somewhere inside, Zara and 12 other ethereals waited for rescue or death. Through his crystal, Marcus could feel Zara's presence growing stronger. She was scared but trying to be brave. "I can sense you," her voice whispered through the crystal. "You're very close now." "I'm coming," Marcus promised. "Are you hurt?" "No, but they have put us in special cells. The walls block our healing abilities. We feel empty." Marcus's anger flared. The Dominion wasn't just imprisoning the ethereals, they were torturing them by cutting them off from their life force. "James," Marcus spoke into his comm unit, "are you ready with the distraction?" "Ready," came James's voice from their stolen courier ship. "Lisa's hacked their communication system. Sarah's standing by with medical equipment. We're all set." Marcus took a deep breath and activated his wing thrusters. "Begin operation." Immediately, alarms started blaring across the station. James had begun accidentally broadcasting old Earth music on all Dominion communication channels. The songs were loud, cheerful, and completely against military protocol. While security rushed to stop the malfunction, Marcus slipped through a maintenance airlock. Inside the station, Marcus moved like a shadow. His academy training helped him avoid patrols, but it was his human instincts that really guided him. When regulations said to go left, Marcus went right. When protocol demanded he wait, Marcus acted immediately. The crystal grew warmer as he got closer to the detention area. Through it, he could hear not just Zara, but other ethereal voices, scared, weak, but still alive. "There are guards," Zara warned through the crystal. 6 Dominion soldiers with energy weapons. Marcus smiled grimly. "Leave them to me." He found the detention level and studied the guard positions. 6 heavily armed Dominion soldiers stood watch over the ethereal cells. Marcus couldn't fight them directly. He had promised Zara no violence, but humans had other ways to win. Marcus activated his comm unit on an open frequency. "Attention Dominion forces. This is Marcus Chen, representing the Human Liberation Network." The guards spun around, weapons ready, but saw nothing. "We know about the genocide," Marcus continued, his voice echoing through the halls. "We know about the final cleansing, and we know that you're about to lose everything. Show yourself, human," one guard shouted. "Why?" Marcus asked, still hidden in the shadows. "So you can shoot an unarmed person? Is that what the mighty Dominion has become?" While the guards searched for him, Marcus was already moving. He used the station's own ventilation system to get above the detention cells, human flexibility and creativity, things the rigid Dominion military never expected. "You want to know something interesting?" Marcus continued talking, keeping the guards distracted. "There are 17 human rescue teams operating right now. 17 groups of people you called too emotional and unfit for service. Guess what they're doing?" Marcus dropped down behind the guards, silent as a falling feather. "They're saving everyone you tried to kill." The guards turned, but Marcus was already in motion. He didn't hurt them. Instead, he used techniques Sarah had taught him from her medical training. Pressure points that caused sleep, not pain. Within 30 seconds, all 6 guards were unconscious on the floor. "Marcus!" Zara's voice called out. He rushed to her cell and saw her for the first time since the academy. She looked thin and tired, her silver glow barely visible, but her eyes still held the same kindness that had captured his heart. "I told you I'd come for you," Marcus said, working to unlock her cell with tools Lisa had given him. "I never doubted," Zara replied, reaching through the bars to touch his hand. The moment their skin met, Marcus felt a warm energy flow through him. Even weakened, Zara's healing touch was incredible. As Marcus freed the other ethereals, each one was amazed to see him. "You came back," an elderly ethereal named Keth whispered. "The human came back for us." "Of course I did," Marcus said, helping a young ethereal to her feet. "That's what family does." Through his comm unit, he heard James's voice. "Marcus, we've got problems. 3 Dominion warships just arrived. They're demanding we surrender." "Tell them we're just getting started," Marcus replied, guiding the freed ethereals toward an escape route. But as they moved through the station corridors, Marcus realized they had a bigger problem. The ethereals were too weak to move quickly. Days in the suppression cells had drained their strength. "We won't make it to the airlock in time," Zara said, struggling to walk. Marcus looked at the group of 13 rescued ethereals, then at his. "Crystal!" An idea formed in his mind. Crazy, impossible, but perfectly human. "Zara," he said, "what happens if ethereals work together, if they combine their healing powers?" "Together, we are much stronger," Zara said, "but we are too weak now." "What if you had extra energy?" Marcus interrupted. "What if someone shared their life force with you?" Zara's eyes widened. "Marcus, no, that is too dangerous. If you give us too much, you could die." "But it would work?" "Yes, but—" Marcus didn't wait for her to finish. He pressed his hands against the crystal and opened his heart to the ethereals around him. He felt his human life energy flowing into them, warm and strong and willing. The change was immediate. The ethereals began to glow brighter, their strength returning. But Marcus felt himself growing weak. "Stop!" Zara cried, grabbing his hands. "You're giving too much!" But instead of stopping the flow, Zara did something unexpected. She began to share her own renewed energy back with Marcus, creating a circle of power between them. The other ethereals joined in, each one connected to the others through Marcus's human spirit. Together they became something new. Not just ethereals, not just human, but a perfect fusion of healing power and determined courage. "Incredible," breathed Keth. "I have never felt anything like this." Marcus stood up, feeling stronger than ever. Around him, the ethereals glowed like stars, their healing abilities amplified by his human determination. "Now let's get out of here," Marcus said. They moved through the station like a force of nature. When Dominion soldiers tried to stop them, the ethereals healed their weapons, turning energy blasters into harmless light shows. When security doors blocked their path, Marcus used his tactical thinking while the ethereals used their powers to make the metal doors grow like living plants, opening new passages. "This is impossible!" came a panicked voice over the station's communication system. "The prisoners are walking through walls!" "Not walking through them," Marcus corrected with a grin. "Growing through them." As they reached the airlock where James waited with their ship, Marcus heard something that made his heart soar. Over the Dominion communication channels came dozens of voices, human voices, reporting successful rescues across the galaxy. Rescue Team 7 successful, 43 ethereals safe. Team 12 reporting. Processing Station Alpha 4 evacuated. This is Team 3. We've got 87 ethereals heading to safe worlds. The Human Liberation Network was working. All across the galaxy, humans were proving that caring too much was exactly the right amount. "Marcus," Zara said as they boarded James's ship. "What you did back there, sharing your life force with us, that should not have been possible." Marcus looked at her, still feeling the warm connection between them. "Maybe that's the point. Humans specialize in impossible things." As their ship pulled away from the station, Marcus watched the rescue unfold. Sarah was already treating the rescued ethereals, her medical skills enhanced by their healing powers working together. Lisa was coordinating with other human teams, sharing escape routes and safe house locations. James was piloting with a precision that seemed almost supernatural. Through the crystal network, Marcus could sense hundreds of other humans doing the same thing across the galaxy. Former soldiers, expelled cadets, disciplined officers, all the people the galaxy had called too emotional, were proving that emotion was exactly what the universe needed. "The Dominion ships are backing off," James reported. "I think they're scared." "They should be," Marcus said, holding Zara close as she rested against his shoulder. "They just discovered that humans don't fight wars the way they expected." Zara looked up at him with wonder in her glowing eyes. "What happens now?" Marcus smiled, feeling the crystal pulse with the combined heartbeats of rescued ethereals across space. Now we change everything." Through the viewport, he could see the stars waiting. Among them were hidden ethereal worlds that still needed protection, other species that needed to learn the truth, and a galaxy that was about to discover what happened when humans decided to care with their whole hearts. The rescue was just the beginning. Part 5. A New Galaxy. 6 months after the Great Rescue, Marcus stood on the balcony of his new home on Haven Prime, watching the sunrise paint the sky in colors that had never existed before. Below him, silver trees swayed in the morning breeze, their leaves singing soft melodies that made his heart feel peaceful. This world had been dead when they found it, poisoned by Dominion mining, its soil black and its rivers toxic. Now, thanks to ethereal healing powers working alongside human engineering, it was becoming the most beautiful planet in the galaxy. "Good morning, my love," Zara said, stepping onto the balcony behind him. Her silver glow was brighter than ever, enhanced by the happiness that surrounded her every day. Marcus turned and pulled her into his arms, his wings wrapping around them both like a protective shelter. Even after all these months, touching her still sent warm energy through his entire body. "Good morning," he said, kissing her forehead. "Sleep well?" "I dreamed of Earth again," Zara said with a smile. "Snow falling on mountains. You promised to show me snow." "And I will," Marcus promised. "After we finish the terraforming project here. Earth is planning to send a delegation to see what we've accomplished." It was hard to believe how much had changed. The Human Liberation Network had rescued over 800 ethereals from Dominion processing centers. The final cleansing had been stopped before it could begin. And now, humans and ethereals were working together to heal damaged worlds across the galaxy. "Marcus," James called from inside the house, "you need to see this news broadcast." Marcus and Zara went inside to find their team gathered around the communication screen. On it, a cerebral news anchor was speaking with barely controlled excitement. "The Galactic Council has officially recognized the Human Ethereal Alliance as a sovereign organization. For the first time in galactic history, a species expelled from the military academy has been granted full diplomatic status." Sarah laughed and shook her head. "Remember when they said we were too emotional for galactic service?" "They were right," Lisa said with a grin. "We were too emotional for their kind of service. We had our own kind to offer." The news anchor continued. "The Alliance has now healed over 40 dead worlds, turning lifeless mining planets into garden paradises. The economic impact has been tremendous, with property values on restored worlds increasing by over 10,000%. "That's not why we do it," Zara said softly. "But I'm glad the galaxy is starting to understand our true value." Marcus squeezed her hand. "They're starting to understand a lot of things." The broadcast switched to footage from across the galaxy. On Kepler 442b, human engineers worked alongside ethereal healers to restore ancient forests. On New Titan, former Dominion soldiers were learning ethereal healing techniques to help clean up the damage their empire had caused. On dozens of worlds, mixed communities of humans and ethereals were creating something the galaxy had never seen before: civilizations built on cooperation instead of conquest. "Breaking news," the anchor announced. "Emperor Corvash of the Dominion Empire has requested a formal meeting with Alliance leaders. Sources suggest the Empire wants to negotiate a peace treaty." Marcus felt Zara tense beside him. Corvash was the same cadet who had been tormenting her at the academy, now risen to power in the crumbling Dominion. "We don't have to meet with him," Marcus said gently. "Yes, we do," Zara replied, her voice strong despite her nervousness. "If we want lasting peace, we have to face our past." 3 days later, Marcus and Zara stood in the council chambers of Haven Prime, facing Emperor Corvash across a negotiating table. The Dominion leader looked older and wearier than Marcus remembered, his 3 eyes no longer burning with arrogance. "I came here to surrender," Corvash said without preamble. "The Dominion Empire formally requests terms for peace." Marcus felt Zara's surprise through their bond. They had expected demands or threats, not surrender. "What changed your mind?" Marcus asked. Corvash gestured to a datapad on the table. "Economics, politics, reality. The worlds you've healed are now worth more than my entire empire. Every day, more Dominion citizens request transfer to Alliance territories. My own generals are asking to join your healing projects." "And?" Zara said quietly. Corvash looked directly at her for the first time. "And I've seen what my policies led to. Genocide, environmental destruction, a galaxy full of dead worlds and suffering people." He paused, seeming to struggle with his words. "I was wrong. About your people, about humans, about everything. The formal negotiations took hours, but the real moment came when they were alone." Corvash approached Zara hesitantly. "I know you have no reason to forgive me," he said, "but I want you to know, I remember that day at the academy. I remember how scared you were, and I remember thinking that fear made you weak." He looked at the thriving world visible through the chamber windows. "I was wrong. Your compassion made you stronger than I ever was." Zara stepped forward and gently placed her hand on Corvash's arm. Marcus felt the healing energy flow between them, not just mending physical wounds, but touching something deeper. "Forgiveness heals everyone," Zara said simply. "That's what my people believe." When the energy faded, Corvash looked different, younger, more peaceful. "I understand now why the humans fought so hard to protect you." "They didn't fight," Zara corrected with a smile. "They loved. There's a difference." Later that evening, Marcus and Zara walked through the gardens they had planted together. Human technology and ethereal healing had created wonders here. Flowers that glowed with their own light, trees that sang in harmony with the wind, streams that purified themselves as they flowed. "I have something to ask you," Marcus said, stopping. Beside a fountain that sparkled with liquid starlight, Zara turned to him, her eyes curious. "What is it?" Marcus knelt down and pulled out a small crystal. Not one of the communication crystals, but something he had asked ethereal artisans to help him create. It held both human creativity and ethereal beauty, shaped like intertwined wings and roots. "Zara, of the Silver Light," Marcus said, using the formal name her people had given her. "Will you marry me? Will you share your life with mine, officially and forever?" Zara's glow flared so brightly that it lit up the entire garden. "Yes," she whispered. Then louder, "Yes!" As Marcus slipped the crystal ring onto her finger, it pulsed with warm light that seemed to connect them even more deeply than before. "I love you," Zara said, tears of joy sparkling like diamonds on her silver skin. "I love you too," Marcus replied, his wings spreading wide in pure happiness. Above them, the Haven Prime sky lit up with auroras, not natural ones, but a celebration created by the ethereal community. Across the galaxy, other crystals pulsed with shared joy as their friends felt their happiness. 6 months later, Marcus and Zara stood together in the Grand Hall of New Earth Station, surrounded by friends from dozens of species. Human friends, like Sarah, James, and Lisa, stood beside ethereal elders and even reformed Dominion officials. The wedding was being broadcast across the galaxy, the first official marriage between a human and an ethereal. Today, Marcus said in his vows, speaking both English and ethereal, I promise to love you across every star in the sky. I promise to protect what you protect, to heal what you heal, and to share whatever life force I have with you and your people. Today, Zara replied, her voice carrying clearly through the hall, I promise to love you with all the light in my being. I promise to stand with humanity in their impossible tasks, to share in their caring hearts, and to grow with you into something new and beautiful. When they kissed, the energy that flowed between them was so powerful that flowers began blooming throughout the station. Every person in the hall felt it, a wave of love and hope that reminded them what they were all working toward. Afterward, at the celebration, Marcus's old academy instructor, Vex, approached them. The blue-skinned Altarian looked embarrassed. Cadet. Chen, he said formally, I owe you an apology. We were wrong to expel you. You weren't unfit for galactic service. You were preparing for a different kind of service entirely. Marcus smiled and shook Vex's hand. You taught me tactical thinking, sir. I just learned to apply it to problems you never imagined. As the celebration continued into the night, Marcus and Zara stepped onto a balcony overlooking the cosmos. Thousands of ships filled the space around them, humans and ethereals traveling together to heal new worlds, former enemies working side by side, families of mixed species creating the future. What do you think comes next? Zara asked, settling against Marcus's side as his wings wrapped around them both. Marcus looked out at the stars, each one representing possibilities they hadn't even dreamed of yet. I think we keep doing what we do best. We care about people. We break rules that need breaking. We love without limits. And we heal worlds. We heal everything, Marcus said, feeling the crystal communication network pulse with messages from across the galaxy. New species asking for help, new worlds ready to be restored, new impossible tasks that only humans and ethereals together could accomplish. Through the network, he could sense the future stretching out before them. Their children would grow up in a galaxy where caring was considered a strength, where different species worked together instead of fighting, where love could literally move mountains and heal planets. It wasn't the future anyone had planned for, but it